So, welcome back to another Patreon request, and as always, if you would like to have a Patreon request done, head on over to the link below, hit the 4th tier, where not only will you get be able to send Patreon requests for me to do here on YouTube, but you can also check out the exclusive content over on Patreon. Now, this is interesting because this inadvertently covers two people's Patreons. Funny enough. Like, this was requested by two different people, and I was like, hey, I'm killing two birds with one stone here. Those being Cyborg 19.99 and Christopher Rosa, who both, funny enough, requested the same thing on two different occasions. So I was like, hey, wait, and it was kind of funny. I was looking back at their requests, just looking through all their requests. I was like, hey, Rosa and Cyborg both asked for the same thing, so how about I just kill two birds with one stone? So for the first time ever, I'm doing a request of two people's request at once. So yeah, let's get into it. And what is that request, you may ask? That is a crossover between Lara Croft and Carmen Sandiego. Yeah, so we got a Carmen Sandiego Lara Croft crossover. Blech. So let's get into it with this story. So this story begins with Carmen with Player, and they're in. Sorry about that. Anyway, so like I said, so the story is that we start off with Player and Carmen in Spain, and they're with Player's help, Carmen has managed to sneak into a party in Madrid, and it's this big highfalutin, big elite riches of the rich in throughout the world, and essentially what it is it's an auction for a relic. It's an auction for a strange relic in It's an auction for a strange relic that is only known as the Eye of the Dragon. Now, Carmen needs to steal it because Vile is putting it on auction for the highest bidder, and it's believed that the eye, there's stories of the eye being supernatural and whatnot. And Carmen's just like, okay, yeah, it's supernatural, okay, whatever. But the thing is when Carmen goes to steal it, someone else has managed to grab it before her. That person being Lara Croft. Lara has managed to snatch it up because she's also aware of what Vile can do, and she's also pretty much aware of. She's also very aware of what Carmen is capable of too. So obviously, Lara and Carmen get into a fight because Lara believes that Carmen wants to steal the Eye of the Dragon for herself and sell it to someone else, but she's like, it belongs in a museum. She's going the Indiana Jones route. So the two fight, and it's kind of funny because Carmen's putting up a good match against Lara, but Lara is obviously. She's carrying guns on her, and the moment she whips out her guns and starts shooting at her, Carmen's like, holy shit! Guns! Holy crap! So yeah, the two fight. Lara puts up a good match for Carmen, but however, during the fight between Lara and Carmen, Tigress comes in and snatches it. Snatches the Eye of the Dragon and gives it back to the Duchess, and they're like, well, later. And they just deuce out of there because their auction went off. Their auction didn't go well. So so now Carmen and Lara have to team up because Lara basically says that eye. There's two eyes of the dragon, and I've been following legends about what happens if you get the eyes together. So far I managed to track down the one eye to here. You cost me that chance to get the proper Eye of the Dragon, so your ass is going to help me get the other eye, or so help me God, I will fuck you up. And Carmen's like, okay, I want to stop Vile too, so let's work together. Let's team up and figure out what's the end game here. So, yeah, the two do team up, the two work together, and Carmen's like, yeah, I don't believe any of this stupid, supernatural kind of weird stuff. I've seen some weird shit. Like, Carmen goes, I've seen some pretty weird shit, but, like, I don't believe that this is, like, some kind of supernatural, like, event. I don't believe that. I think it's, like, some kind of science stuff. And Laura goes, yeah, I used to believe that too. I used to have like a belief in that kind of idea of, yeah, it's just the world. It's just a world that you can explain with science and whatnot. But in my travels, I've come to understand that there's greater things than heaven and earth than your understanding. So take that, Horatio. Anyway, so Carmen and Laura like kind of pool their resources, and this is a Laura. I should have said this earlier in the videos that this is a Lara Croft who is like, this isn't like survivalist Lara Croft. This isn't like a young, like, this is like older game series. Like, this is the older video game series of Lara Croft, who is like experienced. She's encountered dinosaurs and monsters and undead and stuff like that. So this Lara Croft has seen a few things in her lifetime, and she's also very rich and has her own like she has her own contacts and her own stuff like that. And Carmen is a little jealous of it. Like, Carmen's like, man, all I got is like two sidekicks and a tech guy. I don't really have a lot in the terms of contacts and friends like that. And Laura's just like, oh, don't worry, I have a feeling that you'll probably be like that at some point. Like, I imagine you'll have stuff like that in the future, in your own future, I guess. So yeah, eventually they managed to, through a lot of globetrotting, the two managed to eventually find that the other eye of the dragon is located deep within a temple in Tibet. So the duo go there and also have to fight their way through not just vile agents who have also found the location of the second eye of the dragon, but also have to fight all these traps that are left there, including one of the among the traps for that is guarding the other eye of the dragon is a Yeti. It's a legit, like, big, like a huge 9-foot Yeti that is guarding the eye. But yeah, so they managed to get their way to it, get the other eye of the dragon, and they also, while they're in the ruins of this booby trap laden temple, they discover like the backstory of the eyes of the dragon. And essentially what it is that the eyes of the dragon are the eyes of a actual dragon, who, in Chinese mythology, dragons were always seen as benevolent creatures, but there was one dragon who was corrupted by darkness and wanted to burn the world of man to the ground so the age of dragons could begin. The other dragons rose up, defeated him, and removed his power, and removed his eyes, and left him in a state of like limbo unless his eyes get returned. So Carmen's like, oh, that's not good. Like, that's the last thing anyone wants with this. And yeah, so now it's like trying to get the other eye from Vile to stop this dragon god from reawakening. And Vile's whole thing is like, well, we don't believe this whole dragon god thing, but, to the highest bidder. So, so Vile gets the other eye, and the two eyes are back together, and they immediately like reawaken the dragon god. So Lara and Carmen have to like work together to rip out the dragon's eyes in order to send it back to limbo. And by the end of it, it's the age old fight. We fight when we first meet, and then we team up, and it's like, until next time, friend. It's one of those kind of stories. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this Carmen Sandiego Lara Croft crossover? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you would like to have a video done on here on YouTube, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, and join the 4th tier. And other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'd like to thank Christopher Rosa and Cyborg 19.99 for sending me this video. And other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.